Alright guys, I'm up here in the mountains of Colorado heading back home. Went up here for a nice little twisty ride and just getting some more practice on this baby. I'm on my way home, so I thought I would stop here for a minute and talk to you guys on this video about the motorcycle safety class and whether or not it's worth it. You know, obviously if you are a brand new rider and you don't have your motorcycle license, there's only a couple different ways that you can get your motorcycle license, and you need to have it. You can't be zipping out here on the roads and not have your license, guys. You need to do it the right way. You know, I know some people go out there and ride motorcycle without a license, but that is absolutely the wrong thing to do. So, but yeah, so we'll hop on, start heading back to my house, and let's talk about the motorcycle safety class. It is late September. The season is changing. The season is changing from summer to fall and fall to winter. The colors are changing. You can't see them on this particular ride, but they are changing, and hopefully I can get up there and shoot a cool video, because there's some beautiful color changes that happen throughout the state of Colorado, and they're just amazing to look at. Yeah, let's just talk about the motorcycle safety class. At least here in the state of Colorado, there's only two ways to get your motorcycle license. The first way and the cheapest way is to go to the DMV and take a written test, and once you pass the written test, then you got your motorcycle permit. And then once you have your permit, you're free to travel the streets. You're street legal. You have a permit, but you can go down the highway 80 miles an hour, and then you accumulate a certain amount of hours. I don't know exactly how much it is, how many hours you need, but then you go back to the DMV, then you do the driving test there, but you need your own motorcycle to do that. The DMV does not provide the motorcycle for you. And then if you pass the driving test, then you're certified. You got your motorcycle license. Bam, it's done. Now that's a lot cheaper than the motorcycle safety class. You know, the whole thing probably costs you, I think, to take the written test, my guess would be it cost you between $20 and $30, and then to do the actual driving test would probably be another $20 or $30 or $40. You know, so the whole thing would cost you probably between, you know, $50 and $100. And yeah, that's that. Now, obviously that's the cheapest way to go. But is it the safest way to go? Well, for me personally, and in my own opinion, if you're an experienced motorcycle rider and you have hours of riding a motorcycle, then yeah, that's the way to go. You know, because you already know how to ride. Let's kind of zoom down this twisty. Now, as for the motorcycle safety foundation class, that's what I did. Now, I was a brand new rider. You know, I used to, when I was 10 and 15 years old, you know, I had a little dirt bike that I rode around. Not even when I was 15. Right when I was like 10 years old, I had a little dirt bike I rode around that my dad bought me. So I had a little bit of motorcycle experience. But then we got rid of it, and I hadn't ridden a motorcycle for you know, 15, 20 years. For the last 4 or 5 years, I've really always wanted to get my motorcycle license, and this year I did it. Since I haven't been on a motorcycle for so long, you know, I signed up for the motorcycle safety class. Now, the motorcycle safety class cost me, I think it was all said and done, how much was it? I believe it was $300. And I went to my local Harley Davidson shop. So yeah, it was $300. It was a 3-day class. The first day was like 4 or 5 hours. The second day was 8 hours, and the third day was 8 hours. So it's a 3-day class. The first day is all book learning and sitting in the classroom and learning, you know, all the information that you need. The second day, a little bit of book learning, but mostly writing. And then the third day is mostly writing, and then you take your test. The cool thing about the motorcycle safety class is if you are a brand new rider, it's ultimately the way to go. You know, first of all, they provide you a motorcycle. Second of all, they teach you everything that you need to know. You know, you sit down in the classroom and they go over so much information that it makes your head spin, but it's well worth it. And then when you get on the bike and you actually start riding, you know, they baby you the whole way. You know, so initially when you first get on the bike, you hop on it and you feel the weight of the bike, you know, and then you walk with the bike up and down, and then you feel the throttle out and you feel the clutch out. And then once you walk with it for a little bit of a ways, then you gradually ride with it, going like a mile or 2 miles an hour, and you try to put your feet up. And you do that, you know, a handful of times until everyone starts feeling comfortable with it. And then you start actually riding. Then you go and then you do about like 15 or so different courses, and you work your way up as you're riding around. You go into straight lines, and then you start going into gradual corners, you know, and then you start going into big corners, and then you weave in and out of cones, and they baby you the whole way. You know, as you progress throughout the course and through all the different skills and challenges that they have, you know, you go from an absolute beginner, barely able to go straight and put your feet on the pegs, to now you're weaving in and out of cones. So, you know, it's a great experience. It really is. Is it worth the $300? Well, yes. In my opinion, yes. And the reason for that is because, you know, if you're a beginner rider, the knowledge that you learn from that class is superior to none. You know, if you go to the DMV, you pass the written test or whatever, and you just go out there by yourself, you know, without any knowledge, you know, you can get yourself into trouble. You know, what happens if you break down? You know, what happens if you feel uncomfortable? What happens if you get into a situation where you need to get out of it? You know, the motorcycle safety class teaches you all that stuff. It progresses you from an absolute noob beginner rider to, you know, someone that can at least handle a bike. You know, and then you got classmates, and it's very an enjoyable experience. You got teachers who, if you're struggling on a certain aspect when it comes to riding a bike, you know, they work with you. You know, if you're really struggling, you know, they'll pull you off to the side, and they'll work with you until you get that particular skill down. It's a great experience. And then on top of it, you take both the written and the driving examination there during the 3 days. So you don't have to go, you know, once you pass the whole entire class, so You do all the skills, you pass the written test, and you pass the driving test. You don't have to go back to the DMV and take any other tests. You could just go, turn in your paperwork, and bam, now you have your motorcycle license. What I want to say is, if you are an absolute beginner and you have no experience whatsoever, look into going to the Motorcycle Safety Foundation class. It is well worth the $300 or however much it is in your area to get it. You're gonna learn a lot. You know, you're gonna learn a lot. You're gonna have a great experience. You're gonna have a great time. And I truly enjoyed my experience, and I was glad that I went that route. You know, because I did think about getting a bike and going the DMV route, but you know, and even though it is a little bit more expensive, you know, for me, the extra money was well worth the time and the experience and the fun and the knowledge that I came out of that class with. And I highly recommend it. I absolutely do. It's a great way to get the basic skills that you need to have to come out here on the streets and to enjoy yourself. You know, because if you're an absolute noob and you just come out here, you know, it could be a bad time. So, you know, let motorcycling be fun. Let it be enjoyable. Let you have that freedom that you want on a motorcycle. And the motorcycle safety class is, at least in my recommendation, is absolutely the way to go. Alright guys, until next time, we will see you later.